Jumping into science news, of course, we're going to start running with Elon Musk. Elon Musk and Jack Ma, two of the leading heads in the tech world, debated each other on Thursday on the dangers of AI, the need to explore Mars, and the future of education. The argument I found most interesting is their debate over AI. Ma is betting humans will prevail over machines, while Musk fears doomsday is coming. So Musk said that people underestimate the capability of AI. They sort of think like they sort of think like it's a smart human, much smarter than the smartest human you will ever know. And Ma says, I never in my life say human beings will be controlled by machines. It's impossible. Human beings can never create another thing that is smarter than human beings. Musk says, I very much disagree with that. The biggest mistake
I,
I
I,
see
I
people
severely
making.
disagree with that too.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, for sure.
Like that is just an asinine thing to think. Like
So arrogant. And his
very.
next quote, like if I could go back in time in high school, this would be my high school yearbook quote. The biggest mistake I see people make is to assume they're smart. Ooh. Ma says, I'm quite optimistic and I don't think artificial intelligence is a threat. I don't think artificial intelligence is something terrible, but human beings are smart enough to learn that. People like us, street smart, we're never scared of that. Musk said, I don't know, man. Like, that's the famous last words. I love his demeanor so much. I just love him. But I think it's also really funny to say, like, if you guys know what Ma looks like, to say that he's a street smart individual, like he's like from the streets, not so
No.
much. But
No.
I disagree. Um, I don't know. Like, I definitely think we're capable of making some pretty great AI, some potentially really scary AI.
Well, see,
I
Okir
mean,
says the limit of AI is the programming. However, we are in the process of adapting, of creating adaptive AI and AI that is capable of learning by itself. So if we do create, if we do program something that can learn by itself, there is a possibility that it would overtake us like that. Like
right. Which
if
isn't far fetched either, because we are trying to figure out now how to do that, how to make it learn and learn
artificial
from
we
us.
like we have artificial neural networks like Google's neural network, and Google has their own neural network, and I'm sure Amazon does too and stuff. I did not shut up. Stupid phone.
Oh, I did that yesterday. You can never say the G word.
um but yeah, so it's they're like we're trying to create artificial brains and stuff like that, and like if we reach the point where we create an AI that is capable of self thought and self teaching it and able to self teach itself, we are like basically, if that AI ever gains access to the internet, for example, it'll know everything within a couple of minutes
Right.
because of how fast like computers are, how much faster AI and computers are capable of processing information compared to us as humans, and the biological limits of how much we can know and how much we can learn and how fast we can learn.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think Musk is pretty smart, so I wouldn't discredit his thoughts. But anyway, so not moving far from Musk, but moving into space, SpaceX's stubby rocket Starhopper shot into the air Thursday afternoon in a test launch that brings Elon Musk's company closer to his vision of human travel to Mars. The test was Starhopper's second and highest hop. The craft is set to be retired after Tuesday's flight. Did I say Thursday? I meant Tuesday. Tuesday's flight and cannibalized for parts as the company ramps up work on Starship, the rocket it hopes to send to Mars. Starship is intended to carry as many as 100 passengers to the moon and Mars. Last September, the company announced that Japanese e commerce billionaire Yusaku Maezawa, hope I said that right, would be the first paying customer to travel around the moon on the vehicle. Maezawa has said his flight will occur in 2023. Starship and Super Heavy launch vehicle is set to be the most powerful rocket ever built upon completion and could eventually be followed by a rocket multiple times larger. So we're already talking a next gen rocket after this one, set to be way bigger.
It's huge.
Yeah, like astronomically bigger, to hold more cargo, more people. So he is shooting for the stars, to say the least.
Don't mind the
But yeah,
pun.
I know. Um, so moving into some, I guess, crazier side of space news, physicists have just released a step-by-step instructions for building a wormhole. So it's like a wormhole recipe, no big deal. All you need are a couple of black holes and some cosmic strings, just a dash. Wormholes, which are bends in space-time so extreme that a shortcut tunnel forms and they are catastrophically unstable. As in, as soon as you send a single photon down the hole, it collapses faster than the speed of light. But a recent paper published to the preprint journal ARXIV on July 29th has found a way to build an almost steady wormhole, one that does not collapse, but slowly enough to send messages and potentially even things down it before it tears itself apart. All you need are a couple of black holes and a few infinitely long cosmic strings. So, very interesting. And I would just assume that that's probably going to help us learn more about them and how they work since it collapses a bit slower. Um, but it
It,
didn't really, the article didn't say like a why they're doing
okay,
this.
so everybody kind of gets not they got an idea what a black hole is. What is a cosmic string? I've heard of string theory in physics. Might be related to that.
Don't think so. String theory is basically it's one of those meta theories where the whole
Cosmic strings are theoretical defects similar to the cracks that form when ice freezes in the fabric of space-time. These cosmic leftovers formed in the early head days of the first fractions of a second after the Big Bang. They are truly exotic objects, no wider than a proton, but with a single inch of their length outweighing Mount Everest. You never want to encounter one yourself, since it would slice you clean in half like a cosmic lightsaber. Sounds good. We don't even know that they exist, but we've never seen one out. We've never seen one out there in the universe. But there's no reason that they can't exist.
So a cosmic string, it's pure theoretical physics, like that
yeah.
they're
Yeah,
okay. Okay. So stuff that we know exists, we know black holes exist.
Well,
We
in relevantly speaking, I mean, we didn't know black holes existed until fairly recently. I'd say within the last 20 or so years.
it's funny.
20 to 30
Uh
so years. Like,
sometimes
we theorized their existence, but we actually just recently got confirmation of their existence.
sometimes to understand what something is, it helps if you can, get close to it, if you can touch it, if you can hold it, if you can look behind it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's no way we can get close enough to a black hole, like get behind a black hole or anything like that. It's like you want to stay as far away as possible from that shit. It's
yeah. Do
so
not
so
advise.
so like man-made small black holes, like particle colliders. Wasn't there something about? I think there was like a Simpsons where they made fun of like a particle collider making a black hole. That was like a Halloween.
I remember the whole build up to them turning on the LHC was like, you can't turn it on, it'd create a black hole here on Earth and stuff like that. And like there was a whole fear mongering bullshit going on. Like, you can't turn on the Large Hadron Collider, it'll smash it'll smash particles together so fast it'll create a miniature black hole here on Earth, and we'd all be doomed.
I'm
Right.
confident enough that people investing billions of dollars into making shit like that they would be wise enough not to make an unstable black hole. Like I'm
or even a
confident,
stable one.
yeah.
Black hole in general.
Uh,
But anyway, so while still on the topic of black holes, there was a possible detection of a black hole so big it should, in theory, not exist.
yeah.
So a signal came from a collision involving a black hole of unanticipated heft, purportedly as heavy as 100 suns. So because stars shed mass throughout their lives, a star would need to be born weighing at least 300 suns in order to end up as a 130 solar mass core, which is rare. For this reason, most experts assume black holes detected should top out at around 50 solar masses. Black holes that are near each other can swing into each other's gravity and merge into one bigger black hole. So, this may be what has been discovered. An alternative origin story to this is perhaps it started out in an isolated binary star system. After the first star collapsed into a black hole, it might have grown by stripping matter from its companion star. Later, the second star would have collapsed as well. Then eventually the two would have collided and merged, sending gravitational waves cascading through the fabric of space time. So we don't really know, but it sounds daunting and crazy.
Mm, theoretically.
Yeah. And I mean,
That's
so far it doesn't seem like it's a threat of any kind. Like they didn't say it was near anything, but like, I mean, I guess potentially if it's near others, maybe it could grow, but I don't know. Apparently that seems pretty rare. So, U.S. Air Force's Boeing X-37B spaceplane broke a record, not yesterday, but this week, for the most amount of time in orbit around the Earth. So, the kicker, though, is we still don't know when the plane is going to land or even what it's doing. Everything is classified. So, we know nothing. But we do know that it has spent 719 days in orbit, which is just 11 days shy of a full 2 years circling the globe. Their previous record was 717 days, 20 hours, and 42 minutes, achieved just a few years earlier with the OTV-4. So, fun fact, but don't know what it's doing.
like we've known about its existence for quite a few years now, but we don't know what they're using it for. We don't know what its general purpose is for. We don't know if it's being used as like a spy plane or just
I mean, if you want to
gathering
fall down the rabbit
information.
hole on YouTube,
Like
and there's a bunch of
yeah.
theory channels.
There's the infinite speculation on this, just because
Right.
like we just don't
But
know.
yeah, we don't know. Last but not least, a little bit of a tidbit of fun information is NASA's long-delayed James Webb Telescope is finally assembled for the very first time. The next step is to electronically connect the telescope and actually test it out. Following final testing, including environmental and deployment testing, the James Webb Telescope will launch into space 2021. Fun times.
I think that's like about a full decade plus past when it was originally supposed to be ready to go into orbit.
But better late than never.
I was actually starting to think that it was going to be never, because it just like disappeared and was like, are we getting this supposed super telescope anytime soon? Like, I mean, they keep setting people up to fix and upgrade Hubble, but meanwhile,
Which Hubble will still continue to function.
this James Webb telescope was supposed to be like the successor to Hubble. It's supposed to see further, allow us to see more and stuff like that. And
the telescope 20 years in the making.
yeah,
Jeez, vaporware technology here.
like it's been in development for so long. I wonder how many times they actually had to change it to keep up with relevant technology.
Yeah, true. But that does it. We did it.
Yeah,
That's
this
it.
last telescope, it's got Ryzen in it. Yeah. That's how I read.
That's going to be the next article. Ryzen in space.
All right. So That does it for our show this week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.
Isn't there some about the measles?
Oh,
Oh,
right.
you're totally right.
Yes.
Whoops. So our last actual tidbit of info is Danny, one of our writers, did an
Whoops.
article about the continuous spread of the measles, which we've previously covered in past episodes. So a few countries in Europe have lost their measles. What do you call it?
Measles Elimination certification.
Elimination. Yeah, there we go. Measles elimination certification. And we could be next. The US could be next. We are still on an incline of measles cases, and if we continue this way, we're gonna lose it as well.
Gonna be in bad
Even
company. Jeez. Losing
yeah,
his
and I mean,
certification.
even though we've received the measles elimination certification previously, it's going to be even harder to get back just because of the rise of the non-vaxxers. That trend is on the rise. So if we don't put a
Rise of
cap
the
on it now,
anti-vaxxers coming to a theater near you.
I mean, it just sounds so stupid. Like even just like as I'm starting to say these things, it's just like I just coming out of my mouth. It sounds so dumb, but I mean, yeah, it's fact. So like the
It's
anti-vaxxers
diseases
are
we've thought
favored.
that we had conquered, that we were done with, that we didn't have to deal with anymore, are coming back because these people refuse to inoculate their children. Meanwhile, they themselves have probably been inoculated when they were kids, and
Right. I mean, we've talked about it so
it's
extensively. It's just,
it's just a headache at this point.
yeah, it's such a headache because it's so preventable. It's one of the most effective vaccines. Yeah, it's the one we are choosing not to use. And
Like, I
I
wonder
don't
what
know.
the anti-vaxxers are going to bring back next. Polio?
I mean, at this rate,
No.
maybe, sure.
Antibiotics, and then there's gonna be like bubonic plague
Plague
and
enthusiasts.
leprosy like everywhere.
Leprosy's still a thing, actually. So don't
Hope not
like.
in the U.S.
No,
Hope not.
yeah, it is. It's carried by mainly armadillos here in the United States.
Oh,
Armadillos.
armadillos.
Don't touch the armadillos. PSA.
I mean, they're common in southern states like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, uh,
Hmm.
New Mexico, Arizona, stuff like, and that whole like southern area, Oklahoma, and so on and so forth. Um, and yeah, like roadkill, stay away from it. Don't touch it unless you're wearing gloves. If
Have
you're
you guys
cleaning
heard
up
about those
roadkill and stuff,
people that they just
um,
eat roadkill and that's like their form of hunting and gathering?
they deserve what they get.
You got it coming. That's
What was
terrible.
that story about the dude who ate like a varmint and got bubonic plague? Was that?
We talked about
Oh,
that like a month ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
thought.
like marmot kidneys or something like that. Like
Yeah.
they ate raw marmot kidneys because it's supposed to bring good luck, and they ended up getting the bubonic plague and
Bad
dying.
luck. Oh, irony. I love
It
it.
was a Mongol. It was some Mongolian couple.
Yeah.
Those Asian home remedies.
Gosh.
Right,
Just take some powdered rhino horn. You'll be fine. Anyway,
poor fucking animals going
yeah.
extinct over Asian medicine.
Go
Doesn't make any
eat
sense.
some bear gallbladder. But anyway, yeah. So leprosy
That
is still a
wraps.
thing, even here in the United States. One of the most, like I said, one of the most common carriers of leprosy here in the United States are armadillos. So they may look cute and stuff like that, but if they're wild, keep your distance. And if you're cleaning up roadkill, wear gloves. Um, Also, fleas from these animals, similar to how the bubonic plague was spread, like you can get leprosy as a result of that as well because transfer of like blood and stuff.
Hmm.
So keep that in mind. And yeah, now we're done.
Now we're done. Now we did it.